functions. So we have so far used all the functions provided by Python. And then in the last class, we'll learn how to create our own functions, where you write a function and then there is another, this is called our calling program. This calling program will call this function, and function is nothing but a reusable program that cannot execute on its own. It has to be called by someone. That means basically this is a program in the dormant mode, right? It is a sleeping function. You have to go and wake him up and use it. It's a service. It does something and does one thing, does it nice. That's what the function is all about. We learned that in the last class. And then one function, one program, let's say call it program one. There can be another program called program 2. Either you write it or somebody else write it, can also call this function. And that's what makes this function. There can be another program called P3. That can be another program called P4. All these programs are calling these functions, right? We learned that in the last class. So with this, using the power of functions, we make program very reusable. We don't have to repeat lines of code to do the same thing. Anything that we are repeating, we create a function and call that function from the program. And that way, the code becomes more modular, easy to maintain. Because suppose I find a problem in my logic of calculating the interest, I don't have to change all this program P1, P2, P4. I will simply come and change this program, this subprogram. This is why function is also called subprogram. It's a small program. I'll change the magic logic here, and program 1, 2, 3, 4 and all will work as it is because the problem is here. This way we make very maintainable and well organized code, right? However, there is still one problem. In real life, when you write code, you don't write simple programs like finding 3 characters from your name or last name and all. Most of the programs are pretty lengthy. You write a lot of lines of code in this one. Even if you write small programs, you are still writing, this is, suppose this is function 1. You write this is function 2, this is a function 3, and you call function 1, function 2. Your program is still running from top to bottom, right? And wherever required, you are calling a function. So you extract a reusable piece of code and convert it into a function, and then you call the function from calling program. This is what you will do in daily life. But there is another paradigm. And the reason I call it paradigm is it's a different way of thinking. It is in real life, in real world, you think everything in terms of an object. Create an object. When I say create an object, you create a program. That program holds its own data and its own processing. It is think of this like an extended version of program, but rather than providing only functionality, the program is also holding the data. Remember, in programming, everything is all about data and processing, right? In the beginning, we learned that data plus processing. In the mail program, you are more or less holding data. You are sending this and you're doing some small processing in a function. But how about we expand this function and make this a program where it becomes very independent, and independent in the sense like it has its own data, it has its own logic. And let me give you a real life example, then you'll understand what I mean when I say thinking in terms of object. Okay,